Today, I want to speak about the signs that God is preparing to bless you financially. Many of us face challenges, uncertainties, and times of financial strain. Yet, the Bible assures us that God's blessings are abundant and often follow faithfulness and trust. One key sign is obedience to God's principles. Deuteronomy 28:1-2 says that blessings will come to those who obey God's commandments. When we live with integrity, honor God with our finances, and trust Him enough to give generously, we position ourselves for His blessings. Malachi 3:10 reminds us to bring our tithes to the storehouse and watch as God pours out blessings too large to contain. Another sign is when God begins to open unexpected doors. Revelation 3:8 tells us that He places open doors before us that no one can shut. You may find opportunities for new jobs, promotions, or business success that seem to come from nowhere. God often uses divine connections and supernatural favor to elevate us financially. Luke 6:38 teaches that when we give, blessings will be returned in abundance. Lastly, when you experience peace in the midst of uncertainty, that's often a sign that God is working behind the scenes. Philippians 4:6-7 reminds us to trust in God's provision, and His peace will guard our hearts. Even before the blessings arrive, peace is a sign of God's promise. If you are trusting God today, stay faithful, remain obedient, and be attentive to the opportunities He places before you. Financial blessings often follow trust, diligence, and faith. When God's hand is on your life, no obstacle is too great, and no door is beyond His ability to open. Trusting in God's provision and preparing for financial blessings requires a heart posture of faith, obedience, and surrender. One of the most fundamental aspects of recognizing when God is preparing to bless you is developing the ability to trust fully in His timing and His plan. Financial blessings may not always come in the form or time that we expect, but God works all things for good in the lives of those who love Him and are called according to His purpose, as seen in Romans 8:28. When we trust that His ways are higher than our ways, and His thoughts higher than our thoughts, Isaiah 55:8-9, we begin to align our lives with His will and experience the freedom of resting in His sovereignty. Financial struggles can sometimes cloud our ability to see the work that God is doing. It is in these moments of uncertainty and lack that God invites us to strengthen our faith. In Matthew 6:25-34, Jesus speaks directly to the heart of those who are anxious about their needs being met. He points to the birds of the air and the lilies of the field, which are cared for by the Father, and reminds us that we are worth far more than they are. This assurance serves as a reminder that God is fully aware of our needs and has the power to provide. However, this provision is tied to seeking first His kingdom and righteousness. When we prioritize our relationship with God, He adds all these things: our material needs, our daily sustenance, and even financial blessings to our lives. This seeking is not passive. It involves actively cultivating a life of obedience, prayer, and trust. One sign that God is about to bless you financially is an increase in your faith to give, even when it seems illogical to do so. In Luke 21:1-4, we read the story of the widow who gave 2 small coins, which were all she had to live on. Though her offering was seemingly insignificant compared to the wealthy donors, Jesus honored her faith. Her willingness to give from a place of lack demonstrated trust in God's ability to provide. Similarly, Malachi 3:10 offers a bold promise that when we bring the full tithe into God's storehouse, He will pour out blessings until there is no more need. Faithful stewardship and generosity are often prerequisites for financial blessings. When God places it on your heart to give, especially during times of scarcity, He may be preparing to open the floodgates of provision in your life. Another indicator that God is working in your financial life is when He begins to align your desires with His purpose. Psalm 37:4 teaches that when we delight ourselves in the Lord, He will give us the desires of our hearts. This does not necessarily mean He grants every material wish, but rather that He reshapes our desires to match His will. When we begin to seek His will over our own ambitions, we may notice a shift in how we handle money and opportunities. God's blessings are not just for our personal gain, but to further His kingdom and bless others. As our perspective changes, we may find new opportunities for financial growth that align with our purpose and bring glory to Him. Humility and surrender are crucial components of positioning ourselves for God's financial blessings. Proverbs 3:5 and 6 urges us to trust in the Lord with all our hearts and not lean on our own understanding. Acknowledging God in all our ways invites Him to make our paths straight, including those related to finances. Often financial struggles are accompanied by pride, fear, or a sense of control. However, when we release our grip on our resources and invite God to take the lead, He can move in ways we never imagined. Financial blessings often come when we surrender our plans and allow Him to work according to His perfect will. Patience is another essential factor in recognizing God's work in our financial lives. James 1:2-4 teaches us to consider it pure joy when we face trials, knowing that the testing of our faith produces perseverance. Letting perseverance finish its work leads to maturity and completeness, lacking nothing. Financial struggles may be a period of refinement where God is building our character, strengthening our trust in Him, and preparing us for greater blessings. It is during these waiting seasons that God often plants seeds of future financial miracles. Trusting in His timing allows us to embrace the process rather than becoming discouraged by delays. When God is preparing to bless you financially, you may also experience divine guidance and wisdom in decision-making. James 1:5 promises that if anyone lacks wisdom, they should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault. Financial blessings require stewardship, and God often provides clarity and discernment regarding opportunities, investments, and spending habits. This divine wisdom can help avoid pitfalls, manage resources effectively, and recognize the doors that God is opening. The Holy Spirit is a constant guide, nudging us in the direction that aligns with God's plan for our financial lives. Financial blessings are often preceded by spiritual growth and breakthroughs in other areas of life. Just as physical fruit is a result of growth and nourishment, financial blessings are often the culmination of spiritual discipline, trust, and obedience. God desires holistic prosperity, not just material wealth. In 3 John 1:2, John writes, "Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prospers." This holistic approach emphasizes the connection between spiritual well-being and material provision. As we grow closer to God and experience spiritual victories, financial blessings may follow as an extension of His favor and grace. Finally, gratitude and praise are powerful tools in preparing for and recognizing God's blessings. Philippians 4:6-7 encourages us to present our requests to God with thanksgiving. This attitude of gratitude shifts our focus from lack to abundance and opens our hearts to receive God's blessings with humility and joy. When we cultivate a lifestyle of thankfulness, even in times of financial difficulty, we demonstrate trust in God's goodness and provision. Gratitude also positions us to be more aware of the blessings that God is already pouring into our lives, helping us steward them well and share them with others. In summary, trusting in God's provision and preparing for financial blessings require faith, obedience, surrender, and gratitude. When we align our lives with His will, seek first His kingdom, and trust in His perfect timing, we can rest assured that He is working all things for our good. Whether through increased generosity, divine wisdom, spiritual growth, or unexpected opportunities, God's financial blessings often come in ways that exceed our expectations. Trusting in His faithfulness and sovereignty allows us to experience the joy and peace that come from knowing our lives are in His hands. Financial blessings from God often follow a season of preparation, obedience, and faithfulness. One key sign that God is about to bless you financially is a change in how you view and manage your resources. In Matthew 25:14-30, the parable of the talents teaches us the importance of stewardship. Each servant was entrusted with a portion of their master's wealth, and those who invested and multiplied their talents were rewarded. The servant who buried his talent out of fear received nothing but rebuke. This story illustrates that financial blessings often follow faithful management of what we already have. When God sees that we are trustworthy with the little we are given, He can entrust us with more. This principle of stewardship goes beyond budgeting or saving. It involves using our time, gifts, and resources to align with God's will. Faithful stewardship includes giving generously, paying off debts, and ensuring that our priorities reflect our trust in God's provision. Proverbs 21:105 emphasizes the rewards of diligence and planning. The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty. When we take the time to plan, work hard, and be intentional with our finances, we show God that we are ready to handle greater blessings. Another sign of impending financial blessings is when doors begin to open unexpectedly. God's favor is often seen through divine opportunities that seem to align perfectly with our needs. Revelation 3:8 says, "I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut." Whether it's a new job offer, an unexpected promotion, or a chance encounter with someone who provides guidance or resources, these opportunities may be God's way of positioning you for financial increase. However, recognizing and walking through these doors requires discernment. When God opens a door, it will often be accompanied by peace and confirmation through prayer and wise counsel. Opportunities are not always immediately obvious. Sometimes they come in the form of challenges or circumstances that push us out of our comfort zones. James 1:2 teaches us to consider it pure joy when we face trials, knowing that the testing of our faith produces perseverance. Financial difficulties may be a stepping stone to greater blessings as they force us to develop new skills, seek creative solutions, or rely more deeply on God. These challenges often refine our character and prepare us for the responsibility that comes with greater financial blessings. God may also use financial difficulties to test our faithfulness. Luke 16:10 states, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much." If we are faithful in the small things, such as tithing regularly, helping those in need, or avoiding wastefulness, we demonstrate our readiness for larger blessings. Conversely, if we are careless or selfish with what we have, we may miss out on the financial increase that God desires to give. Faithfulness is not about perfection, it is about consistency and a willingness to trust God in all circumstances. Another significant indicator of God's financial blessings is peace in the midst of uncertainty. Philippians 4:6-7 reminds us to bring our concerns to God with thanksgiving, and His peace will guard our hearts and minds. This peace is a powerful sign that God is working behind the scenes, even before the financial breakthrough arrives. Peace can serve as confirmation that God is preparing the way. It allows us to rest in His provision and avoid the anxiety and fear that often accompany financial struggles. When we trust God completely, we can face any situation with confidence, knowing that He is faithful to provide for our needs. Humility is also a critical factor in preparing for financial blessings. Proverbs 22:04 says, "Humility is the fear of the Lord. Its wages are riches and honor and life." A humble heart recognizes that all blessings come from God, not from our own efforts or abilities. When we acknowledge God as the source of our provision, we open ourselves to His guidance and correction. Pride, on the other hand, can block blessings by leading us to rely solely on our own strength. True humility allows us to surrender our plans and desires to God, trusting that His ways are better than ours. One of the most transformative aspects of preparing for financial blessings is cultivating gratitude. Gratitude shifts our perspective from lack to abundance and positions us to receive more from God. In 1 Thessalonians 5:18, we are instructed to give thanks in all circumstances. This attitude of gratitude helps us recognize the blessings we already have and prevents us from falling into a mindset of scarcity or entitlement. When we thank God for His provision, we honor Him and invite His continued blessings into our lives. Another important aspect of gratitude is contentment. Philippians 4:11-13 reveals Paul's secret to contentment. Learning to be satisfied in any circumstance because of the strength that comes from Christ. Contentment does not mean complacency or a lack of ambition. Rather, it reflects trust in God's timing and provision. When we are content with what we have, we are less likely to make impulsive financial decisions or chase after material wealth. This mindset frees us to focus on God's purposes and allows us to steward our resources wisely. As we prepare for financial blessings, we may also notice a heightened sensitivity to the needs of others. Acts 20:35 reminds us that it is more blessed to give than to receive. When we develop a heart for generosity, we align ourselves with God's character and open the door for greater blessings. Generosity is not just about giving money. It can also involve sharing our time, talents, or resources with those in need. When we give with a cheerful heart, God honors our faith and often returns the blessing in ways we cannot anticipate. Lastly, prayer is essential in recognizing and preparing for financial blessings. James 5:16 teaches that the prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. Through prayer, we invite God into our financial decisions and seek His guidance and provision. Prayer also helps us stay focused on His promises and remain hopeful during times of waiting. When we pray with faith and expectation, we demonstrate our trust in God's ability to provide abundantly. In conclusion, financial blessings often follow a season of faithful stewardship, humility, gratitude, and prayer. When we align our hearts and actions with God's will, He can open doors, provide opportunities, and pour out blessings in ways that exceed our expectations. Trusting in His timing and provision allows us to experience the peace and joy that come from knowing that He is our ultimate provider.